welcome to activity 1 of change. What are we doing in this activity? This activity, we're going to begin thinking about some of those really important sustainable development goals. So as I've outlined in the introduction. So the purpose of this is to begin understanding what they are. What are the sustainable development goals? These are really important. These have been, if you did the activity earlier in the week about community, thinking about your values and thinking about behaviours, these are the core things that internationally we've decided are the core things for us as a species, if you like, to focus on. These are the things that we need to make sure are done something about. So think about those. You want to get a sense of those. They're really important to the university. They're really important internationally, nationally and internationally. So look at those. And there's all sorts of things. There's climate change in there. There's sustainability in all sorts of ways of poverty, etc. Discuss those and what the importance personally about the different goals. So what's important to you? If you were to prioritise some of those, they're all valuable, of course. And so what do you think you would personally prioritise, and then try and think about maybe as a group what we want to focus on. You don't have to agree on those, but then also think about, okay, you've all decided to do a course. What's the course you're doing, whether that's economics or ceramics or engineering or psychology or sociology or philosophy or whatever it might be? What would be the key things for your subject to focus on? What do you think the areas might be that your subject can make the biggest impact, the biggest strides in making a difference? Where can it help in terms of those goals to help us as a community to move forward on those as our outcomes, as our goals? So it's to try and think about those sustainability goals, and there's some other information on the meetup page about those. What are we going to do in this meetup? Well, collectively, why don't you watch the short videos first? And so you can read those things, you can watch them independently, but you might want to watch them together, have a bit of a shared experience online. So one of you want to share their page and then play it at the same time, or you can just decide to watch them. But there's some short videos just about those sustainability, the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, as I'm going to call them, because it's less of a mouthful and it's written on the meetup page as SDGs. So watch some short videos, look over the SDGs and decide individually what you feel are the most important 3 to focus on, and then have a conversation about what you would all choose, and see what the overlap is, and see what ones some people have, and maybe listen to them and think about why is that important to them personally, and get an understanding of the different positions that your group has in terms of what it values is important. And then, as I said, have a conversation about where your subject could make the most impact, and we'll build on this in the other 2 activities in today's session. So what's important to me, what are the most priorities, and what can our subject do? You don't all have to agree, it's okay. This is just having a discussion around it, and try to listen to try different ways of listening to people's positions. Ask some questions, be curious, find out about them. So this active listening, and ensure that everybody's had an opportunity to speak. Things that you could do differently, variations, you could set up a document if you wanted to. So if you've done the session earlier in the week about community and you've worked out how to set up a OneNote, you could set up another OneNote about the SDGs and what your team's going to do in terms of that, and those sorts of things, or what is important to your team. Or you could add it to that in terms of the things that are values to your team. So if you did that community activity about your values, you could fit in that, add to that document to think about what the key goals are for you and your team. If you want to, you can share it with your program team. These are the things that are important to us, and then we can collectively look across your course. What is important to us, and perhaps you might come up with some ideas and suggestions. And again, the other 2 activities are explicitly doing this. You could, if you wanted to, so we could have some suggestions to what your program could do, and think about projects that your program could engage with, and things that you could do as a program level or at a university level. Another variation, you might want to discuss which goals your subject has most negative as well as positive impact on. What is it doing badly on? What's it actually having the reverse impact on in terms of those sustainable development goals? So you think about it in different ways. Some traps. Remember, they're all important. So don't try and say that's, they are all valuable and important. They've been universally agreed upon. Don't try and change other people's minds and tell them that they're wrong. Listen to their positions. Listen to where they're coming from. Try and understand why they think one of them might be more important than another. This is a good skill in your academic life at university, is to hear variety and diversity of positions and hear the arguments of why those things are important. So practice this kind of debating discussion. It's not about telling people they're wrong, it's about having persuasive arguments, and these are really important skills if you're writing essays, etc., as you go through your university course. And remember, good discussion is challenging and it needs practice. So this is a good safe space. The whole point of these meetups is a safe space to practice these kind of challenging discussions. And so take this as an opportunity. And take this, remember, if you did the community session this week, revisit your rules and your charter and think about, are we abiding by the things that we said? So there's an opportunity here when you're having a discussion about something that might be quite challenging about what's more important, to actually go back and say, are we fulfilling those behavioural expectations we have and the things that we think are important to us? So have a big conversation about the SDGs. That's what activity 1 is really about. Watch some videos, think about the SDGs, and as always, good luck with this, and I hope you have some good learning.